Next up is the very exciting Bloodstained, and we are joined by Roberto from 505 Games. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we are about to jump into the game where I think we're going to see your incredibly sexy Bloodstained flavoured 505 Games logo.
Yeah, we actually have a new intro to the game that we haven't shown anywhere else at all, so
Right,
hopefully the fans like it.
Let's take a look. It's all about the laugh.
Yeah, got to get that villain laugh in there.
Yeah, oh, very tasty.
Yeah, so that's actually what you are going to see when you first boot up the game.
Oh, okay. So, Bloodstained, this, it's obviously been a massive project. I imagine lots of people know about it already, but for those that don't, could you maybe just give us a little intro?
Absolutely. So Bloodstained is basically the return to form for Koki Igarashi, the namesake of Igavania titles like Symphony of the Night and Order of Ecclesia. And he's basically coming out with this new game, which was the second largest Kickstarter game of all time, over $5.5 million funded, and around 70,000 backers, I believe. And it's really just all of his past ideas distilled into one modern game, bringing back that real sort of Metroidvania, dark gothic fantasy gameplay.
Yeah. Oh, I love those games. I'm a big fan of the DS iterations. I love Dawn of Sorrow. I loved Order of Ecclesia, Portrait of Ruin.
Yeah.
Fantastic games.
Absolutely.
Are we hopping just into the save file here?
Actually, just go ahead and do new data.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to play as Miriam.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
I'm going to play...
Normal for now. Should be,
Yeah,
should be okay.
I love these games. I am also quite bad at these games.
Oh,
so
don't worry.
you've given me the controller, and I hope I do not embarrass myself.
That's
and
okay. You're doing me a favor because if I died, it would have been even more
Oh,
embarrassing.
yeah.
So this is an actually pretty in-depth story intro that you first get when you boot up the game. For the interest of this stream, you probably want to skip it by pressing start there, but the fans will be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a gentle introduction to the game?
Yeah, I like to think so, yeah.
So, who is this?
So this is Miriam. She is the protagonist of the game.
It was Jeebel's doing, Miriam. No mistake.
And she's basically what is called in the universe a shard binder.
Right.
One of the very few survivors of a really nasty evil alchemy experiment that went horribly wrong, of course.
They always do.
And made a big mess for us normal humans.
Miriam.
But a mess that we're going to sort out, I imagine, by jumping around lots of platforms
Yes,
and chopping up some monsters.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's how you fix all problems.
Oh yeah, don't you? I mean, that's
Yeah,
what I do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
And this is Johannes. He's one of the former alchemists turned, well, always your friend, really, but kind of staying by your side and abandoning his past and joining you to kind of make wrongs right.
Right. So I'm just gonna
I wish I had the
jump
answer,
through the
but all I know
dialogue.
is
Yeah,
the
please,
spell
don't
that
worry,
stopped
it's-
time for you was
Yes.
So what we're playing through right now is actually what was originally released as a beta backer demo to all the Kickstarter backers. And hopefully all the backers out there and people who got their hands on it will see the difference, because this is the absolute latest build of the game.
Right.
Where we have tons of updated visuals, animations, textures, I mean, every lighting especially. I mean, it's really just, I'm really proud of the work they put in.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, actually. You mentioned earlier there are some other studios popped up in that intro sequence. I saw Way
Yeah.
Forward there, for example.
Absolutely.
Could you tell us a little bit more about their involvement?
With pleasure, yeah. So two big things we did after the beta feedback came in was, first of all, delay the game, which unfortunately, no one, of course, liked. And then the second big thing was bring on Way Forward. So that let everyone on the dev team have more time and more staff to really bring up the quality bar to what everyone wanted it to be. And Way Forward is just fantastic. I mean, there's not enough praise I can throw at
Yeah,
them. It's-
I know, but those guys as well, have been clearly influenced by
Yeah.
the Castlevania games.
They're
it's-
true hardcore fans. They were, as excited as we were to have them join, they were to be on the project.
Oh,
so it
that's
was
great.
really a
That's-
match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's what you want.
undeniable. But
I was worried there that I was going to lose that fight against the first jellyfish in the game.
I think I probably would have had to walk out if you did.
Oh my word, imagine that. And then people just take a little clip of this, and then I'd be on Reddit, and it would just be awful. Like,
Be on the front page everywhere.
that would be my career over.
Yeah.
Idiot can't beat first jellyfish in Bloodstained. Notorious fool. Oh wow.
Jellygate.
Jellygate. Oh god, do you remember Jellygate? Oh dear.
Yeah, poor guy.
He didn't look happy.
The demons from the castle must have infested the ship.
So all of the in-game characters have full voice acting. We have a cast of really just amazing star power. Really some names that are both returning from those favorite list of names and also some new ones. We've got David Hayter from the Metal Gear franchise, Ray Chase, who has played Noctis in Final Fantasy 15, and really just a whole huge list of people that are just amazingly talented.
That's awesome. It's good to have people involved.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm just...
Erica Limbeck is Miriam. I mean, we have just... It would be kind of boring for me to sit here and list them all, but it's really... They're all amazingly talented. So here you just want to lift your... Yeah, and just... Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's trying to teach you that you can actually directionally use your shards and spells and kind of aim them in the environment however you like.
No, I will not die to the jellyfish. For the honor of rock, paper, shotgun. It cannot be done. Nice. Oh, the music's great.
Yeah. Music is composed by Michiru Yamane and Ippo Yamada, and they are returning basically masters of the genre. They've worked on previous Igavanias and you know, they're names that fans are going to recognize.
Yeah.
Oh. And the really cool part is that most of the soundtrack is fully orchestrated. So Iga and Yamane-san, they were actually with the full orchestra, and you can hear the violins now coming in.
Ah, God, sorry. Oh, blast, that was bad. Oh. Well,
You're doing okay.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
don't act too surprised.
No, hey. I think you've probably played a game or two.
I have. It's been a while though. Since I played Castlevania, not since I played a game. We've been playing games all day.
So backers here especially will be able to notice the stark differences with the lighting. Everything from the flare of the lamps to even the floor and the walls, it's completely been redone.
Yeah, I always find it interesting with these sort of Kickstarter projects, that kind of evolving relationship with the game and being able to sort of see behind the scenes and have a taste of things. I mean, it's quite kind of daring, really, to let people into that process. I mean, sort of show them how the sausage is made.
Yeah. So these are our save rooms, and you refill all your health and mana. And you can, there you go.
Just in case.
And there's some lore too behind the save rooms, but I'll let that come out naturally when the full game is out.
Oh, I'm filling in the old classic map.
And something cool about these enemies, really all the enemies, is that a lot of times you'll be able to trigger different kind of death animations or weaknesses on those enemies. The Morts, for example, if you throw a fireball at them, they actually start boiling and explode.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, directional shot.
So you just unlocked Flame Cannon. There, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh. That's what I want.
And something tells me, there you go.
That makes sense. So I'm so focused on not dying.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And right now we're playing through the Galleon Level, which is basically The very first level in the game kind of introduces the player to some of the fundamentals. It's not really meant to be super challenging, but but it's really kind of like traditional Mega Man levels where you kind of go through the beginning and really get a feel for things. And there's plenty of tutorial, but a lot of it's supposed to be organic.
Is there a large kind of interconnected world? Like, how does it work?
Yeah.
Was it individual levels?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, in fact, after this initial level, you basically go into a full Dark Souls style world where everything is connected to everything.
Right. That's good. It's always the fun of these things, kind of piecing together that map, see it all loop round, connect, how everything makes sense.
And similarly to Dark Souls, there are some gating mechanics, so if you don't have a certain ability, maybe you won't be able to go a certain path. But for the most part, it's really just all blocked on your own skill. So theoretically, if you were good enough, you could go a super hard way and go places technically you're not supposed to.
Right.
But there's a really high risk, of course, because then you could get one shot by some big baddie. So
that will definitely happen.
Plus, you wouldn't really be doing that much damage, so it'd be a game of how long can I stay alive.
Yeah. His head came off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what I was talking about. With different weapons, different abilities will trigger different kills and animations.
All right.
So in this level, the books that you'll find are mostly telling you little tricks and tips for how to play the game and how to unlock different things. But throughout the world, you'll be finding books that kind of give you more info on the lore, or maybe unlock a spell or an ability, so it gets a lot more sort of intuitive and organic that way.
Oh, so the Kung Fu shoes. Oh,
Yeah.
they're quite low on the old attack though, so I'm sticking with the sword. I know it asked me to do something interesting sounding lightning kick, but I want to, I'm going to stick with the sword that I have.
No worries.
I'm a very conservative player of games.
that's fine. My favorite is Sword and Shield too, so.
Yeah. We should see me in Sekiro sort of hiding about 1,000 miles away just throwing shurikens at things.
Like a proper ninja samurai
yeah, exactly.
would.
I don't think I've even used the sword.
And you can actually crouch and attack as well when you have enemies that are
burst.
Yeah. Yeah, to get a better angle.
Nice.
And again, our backers will notice that when enemies die, there's an actual reflection now in the water, which I don't believe was there before. So I think that's another example of some of the additional work that's been done.
Right. It's nice. It's got a nice feel to it as well.
Yeah.
It just handles like those games. Has that same kind of idea.
Definitely. That's the #1 compliment that we get from people that come to events like these and try the game. That it feels like past Igavanias.
Oh, blast.
Oh, don't worry. It can be more tricky than it looks.
Nice.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of people, when they first see the gameplay, they're like, oh, it kind of looks slow. It kind of looks, I don't know. But then in actuality, it's just as fast and the same kind of feel from games like Symphony of the Night and other Igavania titles. And plus, there's a bunch of abilities, some that we've just recently revealed, that let you go super fast, let you turn into a laser beam. I mean, there's some pretty gnarly stuff.
Oh, blast.
You're actually doing really well. I don't know why you were so diffident.
I have to basically, it's my clever tactic for any video where
Set
I have to
low
play games.
expectations
Is I set the bar so low
That's smart.
that people are like, no, he's not like bottom 5%, and you're like, I'll take it. I'm probably wasting all my cool powers on these little enemies, and I'll meet something horrible. And
No, it's totally fine because you unlock way more interesting and powerful abilities, so it's kind of tough to run low on mana right now.
That's good. Right. Oh, I see.
There you go. And for backers, yes, it actually moves now. They'll know what that means.
Oh, okay. Let's. classes.
Yeah. It definitely gets progressively more complex and more enemies and tactics get thrown at you. And for fans who have already expressed the feedback that Miriam yells a lot, that's being addressed, so don't
that's
worry.
That's what I meant too. It's physically exerting work fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Dear.
So, Sleeping Beauty, you've decided.
So here you're running into Jeeble for the first time, and in the lore-wise, he's basically your lifelong friend, the one person who brought Miriam back from the brink because the experiment that kind of messed up their lives exposed them to these demonic powers, right?
Right.
And Miriam thought she was a monster. Jeeble, you know, kind of brought her back from the brink, and now Jeeble is the one that's in league and apparently leading all this madness. So it's got that sort of, you know, how could you kind of vibe.
Yeah. I've always liked, what I liked about the older Castlevania games, that quite kind of meaty melodrama, and it's always kind of like the biggest family ties or like the biggest betrayals, and it's really like chewy stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Soap opera with a lot less camera angles and flashing and,
that's right.
much more swords.
More fireballs.
This is nonsense.
You told me our power doesn't make us good or bad. I've given up on my
And the music doing a lot of work here as well.
Yeah. You can definitely feel the opera.
Master Jeeble, we must return.
She looks like seriously bad news.
Yeah, she's no fun.
Miriam, I tire of it. You're here to kill me, aren't you? Along the way, you'll have no... If you can still claim to be human at the end of it...
And backwards will notice too that the lip syncing is a lot better now. The first version of the demo had basically Pac-Man mouths going. Yeah.
Oh no.
And here's your first taste of some good times.
Is this going to destroy me?
Hopefully not.
Oh my word. They're a bit bigger than they used to be when they were sprites. Oh, nuts.
So you might want to go into your inventory and use a potion or two.
Yes.
There you go.
It's like, use the potion! Screaming in the comment. Alright.
Oh no. So it looks like you used the potions just a second too late.
Where was that save for? That save was close enough. I can get back there.
Yeah, there should be a save that's actually closer to the boss too, so...
Okay, I'm going to power
If you
through.
just, power through, you should be able to...
I'm so sorry for that, people watching this in the comments currently slapping your head. I got scared. That's what happens with bosses.
Yeah,
if you could defeat a boss on your first attempt, it wouldn't be a true boss.
Exactly.
Come on.
And you can even just, you know, like you don't have to...
They get past the enemies.
Yeah.
Oh no, he dies. This is it. You get flustered.
Yeah, but don't worry. It's, you're actually pretty close, so it's not that far away. And we've had plenty of requests for some interesting enemy types, even when production was, you know, pretty much wrapping up in that department.
Right.
And it's just amazing to see the feedback from the fans, and it's like, no, we can't put Gundams in the game, but thank you for your input.
Oh, there's that thing. Oh, nuts.
And it's just been amazing to see the fans put together the level up animation against the level up animation from games like Symphony of the Night.
Right.
And they'll analyze down to the very frame, like how long it is and the differences, and it's just amazing to see that passion.
Go, I'll claim on the go. Slower, but
Yeah, it's my personal favorite from this demo.
that's what we want. That's more like it.
Get a little berserk action.
I'm gonna do it for the honor of RPS.
Yeah.
Push the crate. Another exciting demo of the crate pushing there for those that wanted to see it a second time. Always a whip. It's classic, isn't it? Oh, nuts.
So you might want to...
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to make that mistake
There you
again.
go. Yeah.
Sorry,
and
Birdman.
you're almost to the save room, so you should be able to...
the Birdman gets a pass
so
today.
instead of going to the right, go down.
Oh, I see.
And if you keep going down to the right, you should be able to...
Oh, man. I'm glad we came down here.
It's important to get rid of vermin. There we go.
There we go. That's every boss
Yeah.
fight needs a save room just before it.
And that's partly my fault. I should have told you.
Oh, those.
There we go. And the trick to this boss is really just kind of avoiding the big tentacles.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like I'm trying to make fun of you, but...
So.
Because that's really just the real danger from the change in perspective from the background to the foreground.
Oh, blast. I'm walking into every single projectile. She comes.
Yeah, you can still attack her even though she's... You just have to hit her in the head. There we go. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, have I got any items to get magic back?
So if you press R1, you should be able to go... Yeah, no, you used...
Oh, sadly not. Okay. Try and hit her with this phone. Maybe I should get a faster weapon. Do you think I should switch to a faster weapon?
Yeah, it might help you out.
Oh, blast. Oop. Oh, dear.
Watch out for that.
Oh, nuts. I missed it. Oh.
So for different situations, a different weapon will be the best. And your Claymore probably would have helped you with that portion just because her head is up higher. If you like, I can give it a crack.
Come on, let's go. We've got a little bit of time now. I think we've got enough time for one try, so I'm gonna hand you the controls.
All right, let's see if
I'm gonna hand it over to a true master.
No, I don't know about that, but we'll see what I can do. Because most players, when they go through this demo, they're also collecting a lot more health vials and potions.
Oh, okay.
Like that one, yeah. So we'll see what we can... Just because, not because you weren't playing well, but because we have less time, obviously.
Yeah, just speeding through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's an efficiency issue.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
nothing to do with...
Plus, we talked about making me look good, and that's why you lost the first 2 times.
That's what I get. That is a really, really horrible looking creature.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, this is one of the bosses that we basically completely redid because we had a lot of player feedback that was talking about how garish and cartoony she looked.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you look at the previous iteration, it's completely different. The quality jump is night and day.
I like the sort of seaweed scarf kind of wrap that it has around.
Yeah, it's really... Like, the more you look at it, the more it makes sense, but the more you're like, oh, that's pretty gross.
Yeah. Just eat some sugar while you're at it.
Yeah, right?
That's what cheers me up when I've got a busy day at work. Just wolf down some sweet stuff. Yum yum. Comfort eating.
Yeah.
That's what I find is the solution to fighting. Oh, nice.
And this is all basic tier stuff because we can theoretically upgrade, and there we go.
Nice.
I'm not fired. I can go back to my
yeah,
job.
well, I think you've reclaimed the honor of the RPS sessions.
Absolutely. So this is one of the key mechanics. When you defeat enemies, you'll unlock their crystal shards, which is their like distilled demonic power. And similar to a lot of other kind of, you know, traditional games in this genre, you kind of absorb their power, and you can upgrade it and make it your own, and really kind of go to town.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh. I'm glad that we got to see that through to the end.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Well, that brings us to the end of this Bloodstained RPS session. Thank you so much for joining us and talking us through this. I'm really excited to play this and sit down and just sort of take my time and get through intact. I can't wait to play the full game. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. And the game's coming out in this summer, and we're just about to announce a release date, and it's going to be on PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox.
Awesome. And where can people follow you on social media?
At Sword or Whip for Twitter, and we have a Facebook page. You can come find us on Discord. I'm on there regularly. We've got a bunch of team members on there, so happy to talk to anyone that wants to come join us.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for joining us again for this RPS session.